You know what? I've spent all of my time working on projects inside of the house. It's not often that I get outside of the house to work on projects, but today we are going to pressure wash this old fence in my backyard. I'm going to show you how to paint it, and guess what else? We're going to make a hanging garden. Now, let me tell you, I have a black thumb. Well, it's blue right now, but I typically have a black thumb. But today we are going to make some hanging plants to put on this fence, and it's gonna get a makeover. So today's the first day of spring, and it's time for the yard to start looking like it. So stick with me because I'm gonna show you how to do it. So before we can paint this fence, we actually have to pressure wash it. Whether it's a fence, whether it's your deck, concrete, you have to clean it first because paint's not going to stick to it. Well, today we're going to use the Kills Over Armor paint. It's actually really good for sealing and protecting wood, concrete. So we're going to do the fence today, but you can see right here from this little sample that I did, the fence is disgusting. So we're going to go ahead and pressure wash it, let it thoroughly dry, and then we're going to put the Over Armor on top of this fence. So you can see how dirty this fence actually is. It's pretty disgusting. So we have to pressure wash this whole thing in order for this paint to stick. So let's go ahead and finish the rest of this fence. So the fence is done, it's clean, all that green gunk is pretty much gone. So we'll let this dry for about 24 hours. We'll come back and we'll be ready to paint tomorrow. But in the meantime, we can make our little cedar boxes, our little planters. So let's clean all this mess up, get out of these nasty boots, and go do some cutting of the wood to make these boxes. Let's go clean up. What a messy job. So for this project, we're going to use Kills Over Armor. You can use it on wood and concrete. We're going to use it on this fence, but if you've got a deck, maybe a patio and you want to cover it up, this should work great to resurface her. And we're also going to put it on with a paintbrush and a roller. So you want to have those handy. Don't forget your paint tray and your paint stir. Let's go ahead and give it a good stir. This is going to be a little thicker than most paint because this is a resurfacer. So it's going to fill in some of those cracks and gaps that your wood surface or your concrete may have. So let's do it. All right, so this fence is painted. We only did one coat. We'll go back and put a second coat, but for now, it's done. So we can let this dry. We can go in and do some cedar boxes, plant the strawberries and the vegetables, and I think that means we're done. Hang it up and then we're done. All right, so I'll see you in the garage. So for this project, we're using a 1x6 8-foot board, and this should allow us to create one planter. And we're going to need to cut a front piece and a back piece that are 23.5 inches wide. And then the base will be 22 inches, and we'll cut two sides that are perfect squares at 5.5 inches. So we're just going to measure this at 23, but you could really make it any size you want. But if you want to make it the exact dimensions that I'm using, then you'll make this 23.5 for your front and back. So we're going to mark that. Now you can use a jigsaw to cut this. You can use a miter saw, circular saw, whatever floats your boat. I find it's easier to use a jigsaw. And I just use a little square here just to make sure that it's even. And I'm going to cut it right a little bit to the right of the line. Okay, so I've got one piece that's 23.5 inches. I'm going to measure a second piece that's 23.5 and cut same exact way. Now the reason why we're using cedar is very weather resistant, and this is the type of wood that you want to use outside whenever you're doing planters or anything that could be susceptible to moisture. Now this bottom piece, we're going to measure this 22 inches. It needs to be a little bit smaller in order to make room for the sides. Measure and cut same exact way, 22 inches. Okay, and now we're going to cut two small 5.5 inch squares. So now that we've cut enough wood to do 4 cedar boxes, we're going to go ahead and cut the French cleats. These are going to be used to hang these to the fence. So in order to cut the French cleat, I'm starting with a piece of cedar board. It's a 1x4, and I have set my little measuring device here from this side about 1 9/16, and I just drew a little line all the way down. So I don't want to cut this board directly in the center. I want it to be a little off center, because when my jigsaw comes in at a 45-degree angle, it's going to cut it evenly, so I've got 2 even pieces. I'm just going to use my circular saw to just cut it off. So then we're left with a nice French cleat that we'll be able to use to secure the planter to the fence. All right, so now we have 4 sets of cleats, which turned out really, really good. We've got 4 planters, and now we're ready for the next step, where we're going to take our power drill and drill some holes in the bottom of the planters so that we'll have enough holes for drainage. We're going to use a 3/8 inch drill bit. We have a sacrificial board underneath. This is to make sure that all the holes are clean and it doesn't rip the cedar from the bottom. So we are at the last part of this project. We've got 4 boxes here, and the last part is just to mount the other side of the cleat onto the fence, fill it with vegetables and soil and water, and then we're done. So let's go ahead and get started with putting this up so we can get this project done. All right, so this is the first one that we're hanging. I'm crossing my fingers that it works. Let's see. I did it! Yes! It's pretty sturdy. I love it. More.
Those are strawberry ones?
It's strawberries. Let's hope that it grows.
It's gonna turn into a strawberry?
Yeah.
Whoa! That's
That's super cool, right?
I think that's too much water.
So we are done with this makeover. We painted the fence with the Kills over armor. It looks great. And we made these cool, it looks terrific. And we made these cool planters out of cedar. And hopefully this stuff doesn't die. So we're watering it and the kids want to help.
And we hope.
And it's a wrap.
No. Woo, mommy.
Water it everywhere. So I hope that you enjoyed this project. I know that I did, and hopefully I don't kill these plants. So if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Go back to my blog, thriftdiving.com, for more, and I'll see you next project. It's good. It's hot, spicy oregano. See you next time.